Good morning, class. Welcome to Literature for Children. My name is Amber Lemire, and I'm going to be your faculty member this quarter for this online course taught via Canvas. I will introduce myself in our first discussion post and share some details so that you guys can get to know me, and I hope that you'll do the same so that I can get to know you and we can all learn about each other and just make a comfortable and fun space to be in for this quarter. So more on that in a bit, but right now I want to give you the nuts and bolts of how this course is laid out, like how to maneuver through the space. So if you're watching this video, you're on the home page in Canvas, or every Monday before noon, I leave these updates, and I also post them in the to-do list, so they'll show up on your calendar. So every Monday, you will see a to-do that you should view the weekly update, and if it's not there yet, it will be there by noon. And then, like I said, it actually lives on the Canvas homepage. You can consider that your home base. So check that weekly. And underneath this video, I will always, whether it's a video or a picture for the week, I will always give you a what you should be working on, the due dates, and then links directly out to the assignments. But you can also find the assignments that need to be completed in the calendar or the to-do list. And if you click on modules to the left, I try to reiterate things in multiple places depending on how you guys maneuver. But to really get the full kind of effect, you should go to the Canvas homepage and make sure you're reading these updates. So this week, it's our first week, and I know we're really diving in. If you struggle at all with our first deadlines, just let me know. But Tuesday, you're going to complete the Getting Started activities, and there's a link below. And that includes reading our syllabus, which is just standard for any course that you're starting this week, and filling out the required book survey. That's just a way for me to kind of get a feel for how equipped we are to get started and like kind of just be alert if I need to dive in and help. And then you're going to post your introductions, so introducing yourself to the class in a Canvas discussion board. I'll talk a little bit about the syllabus when I'm done walking through the week. By Thursday, you'll reply to each other's introductions, again, just getting to know one another, and you will begin what is called Level 1, the Survey of Literary History, specifically looking at the history of children's literature. So to do that, you'll need to read a chapter in Russell. Give yourself enough time. If you don't have the book for this first week, I did provide a link, so don't stress. In general, try not, if you feel stress, it should probably be transformed into an email to me. And info on how to email me is at the bottom of this message. But yeah, so Thursday you're going to reply to introductions, you're going to start that literary history discussion, and then by Sunday you'll reply to the literary history discussion, and I might post a little sneak peek for next week for those of you that you like to know what's coming and maybe start working on it. So again, check these every week by noon. On the actual post here, you can add comments at the bottom. Those are visible to everyone. So you'll be anonymous unless you choose to type in your name, but feel free to utilize that as a place to ask questions, leave comments, anything that you think would benefit the whole group. I've had people ask clarifying questions about due dates and points and formats and whatnot. So that's a good space to do that. But for anything about your own progress or how you're doing in the course, or just something personal, private message, use my email address. Okay, so this Literature for Children course, I think it's going to be really, really fun. And I said that last quarter hoping that it would be really fun. It was my first quarter taking over the course for our department, and this quarter, I can say that students told me that they were surprised by how much they enjoyed it. So I hope that energy just wasn't a fluke and it carries over into this quarter, because I think literature for children is so interesting. And in the one hand, it's easier than a few other literature experiences that I've had, because the texts are more accessible, right? They're written for children. But that gives you so much room to expand upon the texts and to really analyze and be moved by them, and to criticize them. I don't mean that in a negative way. Be critical about them, and just to have great conversations about something that all of us have lived through, which is childhood. And yeah, I will try to share my enthusiasm and my excitement for the course as we go along. I hope it will, like I said, catch on, because for me on my end, I know you guys are here for 1 quarter, but this is the beginning of a journey for me of taking over this course and really making it a part of my career and my life story. So that's where I'm coming from, and I'm so excited to see how you guys experience the course and to learn from you in the way that you handle maneuvering. So I'm going to try to keep this short, which means I only want to talk for a couple more minutes. I just want to go over something about the syllabus. When you click into the Getting Started activities, it is the intros discussion, but there's a link to the syllabus and the required book survey, and then it says do the introductions below. So if you link to the syllabus, which by the way is always in the left-hand menu in Canvas, but if you link there, it's a Google Doc, and it has the general stuff like when can you reach me, what's the course description, what are you learning. I broke it down in my own words. What are the required books, and then my excuses for why those are the books, that kind of stuff. And other required resources, my kind of general culture and expectations. But these are the important things I want to highlight and be repetitive about. So Mondays before noon, check for the weekly updates. Due dates are Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. I won't always need to use all 3 of those, but I like to have a pattern for you. So sometimes if I want something broken up into smaller pieces, I might say do some of it by Tuesday and then edit and post the rest of it by Thursday, or things like that. So the 3 due dates doesn't always mean that there are actually 3 major things due. It just means that that due date is there for me if I need it. Sometimes it'll just be Thursday, Sunday. Sometimes it'll just be Tuesday, Sunday. I don't know. It'll be variations. As long as your work is in the space, the discussion or the submission space, when I open up the work the next day to review it, I will consider it on time. So if you've been in classes where you are I was a minute late, and you had to send the instructor an email, please don't send me that email. It's fine as long as when I open it up, it's there. I'm not looking at the exact timestamp because I think that is micromanaging and not necessary. So if you need to stay up until 2 a.m. because you had a day, then you do you. Okay. Extensions, same kind of mentality here. Life happens. So first time, no big deal. Stuff happens. Just we'll have a spot in Canvas for you to submit a request for an extension. Let me know, hey Amber, I'm doing this, so that we can both track how many extensions you've used. I'll give you more info on that later. But first time, no big deal. You don't even need to give me the details. Just let me know what your plan is. You make the plan for telling me how you're going to get back on track. Because you know your life better and the curveball that you were thrown. And so I just want you to take some ownership and say, hey, I'm struggling this week. I'd like to have until Tuesday to do this part. And, this is how I've got it all worked out. Second time, I'm cool with second chances, but you're making me nervous. My ultimate intention with any policy like this is I just want you to succeed. So as soon as my leniency becomes a stumbling block for you, then I start getting nervous. Third time, I am unlikely to give third chances. So that just means that at that point, I've done this for long enough that I know it's rare that you'll be able to kind of pick yourself up and end the quarter well. So then I'm going to start making a conversation with you about potentially taking the course another quarter, because this is offered every quarter except for summer. So if for some reason it's not working out for you, just know that you can take this course in the fall, the winter, or the spring of next year. But I know that doesn't apply to most of you. So there are some things that I won't give extensions for, but that'll kind of just, we'll work that out in the grand scheme of things. Okay. So you will see something kind of interesting and unique about this course is that I'm not using traditional letter grades. And that's, there's a lot to say about that. But letter grades just kind of, how do I condense this down? Well, I had a student in my English 102 class, sorry, that's annoying, last quarter, who wrote about how letter grades didn't even exist until World War II. So they're modern construction and they were used to just communicate meaning across institutions, and they've created a really anxious and challenging environment for students and for faculty members, because we know that a lot of it is so cumbersome. I don't know, like, it's just, yeah. And what I want to do is I want to have a system where I reward you for the work you do, and I also empower you to achieve the goal that you want to achieve. So if you want an A, a B, or a C, I just want to lay out ways for you to achieve that. I do want my grades to mean something in terms of like how much you've learned, and how well you've done. And so I tried to, like, with my system, honor that, but also like give you more freedom to go for it, and also to get the letter grades out of the way, in the sense that we can focus on like truly just commenting and discussing and having conversations about the learning. Sometimes students who have learned at the level of an A don't always express and prove and demonstrate their learning at the level of an A, so then they don't receive that. And I hope that you and I, all of us, can like use the process that I have set up for this quarter to help alleviate some of those cons of the letter grade system. So basically, it boils down to this. There are, instead of like assignments or projects, there are, I'm calling them 12 levels and 6 quests. Quests take a little bit more priority because they're attached to the required books and because they represent like what would be the major projects for the course. So you need to complete 12 levels and 6 quests, and instead of receiving points, percentages, and letter grades, you're going to receive these qualitative phrases in Canvas that say either the level or quest is completed, bonus if the level or quest is completed and treasure is acquired. That sounds good, right? And then if you don't complete the level or quest for some reason, maybe you had a missing part or something, then you'll get what's called a reboot card, and I will describe in the comments how you could potentially reboot. So that might be, it says it here in the syllabus, like revising a little portion of your work for the chance to earn the level complete. Or if I see something where it's like, honestly, fixing this is not going to be as valuable as like just do this instead to make up for it. So I'm calling that an expansion pack. Or you could just skip the level at your own risk, right? Because if you don't care what that trade-off is, then that's up to you. So you can read about all of that in a little bit more detail. The last in the syllabus, the last phrase is just no attempt. So that's if I don't see any work. So level complete, and treasure acquired. Reboot card, so the chance to reboot yourself, and no attempt. Now, the expansion pack, just so you know, I will also offer that at times to anyone who just wants to have a chance to earn more treasure. So that is an option. And then at the end, you can unlock different letter grades, A minus, B plus, B, C plus, C, D, F, depending on how many levels you complete, how many quests you complete, and how many pieces of treasure you have acquired. That way, like, whatever you've done adds up to the grade, and you get opportunities to keep trying and keep chipping away at this if you so need it. I do want to say that I did something really similar to this last quarter, and I have improved it. What happened last quarter is it worked, but there were a couple things that just the math was wrong. And so I had individual conferences with students, and we came up with like agreements. So we said, okay, how about if you do this and this and this, you can have an A. Or if you do this and this, you can earn a B+. And we talked it through and made sure we were both comfortable with that, and then set out the new conditions and kind of finalized grades at the end. I didn't have any complaints about that. It seemed like a really positive experience. I'm saying that to try to assure you if you're a little outside of your comfort zone. What I want to say about that here is that I don't think I've quite perfected the math this quarter either, but I've made some adjustments. I think I'm closer. So what we will do this quarter as well is conference at some point. You can request one at any time, but we will definitely conference like mid to late quarter, and just make sure that we're both seeing the same outcome and feeling good about that, and give you a chance to like negotiate if you want to negotiate. Now, I talked much longer than I said I was going to. Good thing you're taking this class online and you're not trapped listening to me drone on in a classroom. I just want to share that you might be like, okay, but how do I complete levels and how do I acquire treasure? Like, what are the behaviors that I need to exhibit in order to reach those goals? So I have tips for completing levels and acquiring treasure. It's kind of like a rubric, but I think it's the master rubric for the whole course, and it's the kind of behavior and thing that I want to see in your work all quarter long. So I will point out, let me scroll up, that in the description of qualitative phrases, it says that the work follows instructions completely and is elaborate and detailed enough to show or prove your learning of the course outcomes. So that's the thing that I found myself at requesting the most last quarter is, please elaborate and give more detail to truly reflect the depth of your learning. I'm not doing reading quizzes, book quizzes, that kind of stuff to hold you guys accountable to learning. So literally, your posts are the only thing that reflects the entirety of what's happening inside of your brain, your heart, your gut as you learn. And so try to make your thinking visible. What kind of thinking? That's where the tips are helpful. Focus on the basics. Demonstrate comprehensive and close reading. Initiate conversation, and I give you lots of ways to do that. Further the conversation with each other. I gave you some prompts for that as well. And I embedded some of this rubric type language into your first level, your level 1 this week. So you'll get lots of repetition, because the idea is that when you learn, you should practice and then practice and practice. And eventually you start to just get it. Like you just fall into the ruts and you're on your path. There are some support services here and some important LCC clauses and policies for you to consider. I think that's more than enough for us to get started. So again, I apologize for the lengthy video, but there's some important things here that I want to make sure that you don't just read, but you also hear me as a human communicate to you. So I look forward to getting to know you guys in the intros discussion. I will see you soon.